Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
I'm feeling like humming today. You know, people don't hum like they used to. Humming used to be a big deal, just like whistling, right? Which I could never do. See, told you. You know what used to get me when I was a kid was girls who could do that. And I could never do it. I was like, even a girl can do it and I can't. But I don't care. I whistle in my heart every day. How about you? Good. Welcome, 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 one and all, to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, or at least most of me is here. You know what I'm saying. It's a beautiful day. The sun is starting to peek out here in the Chicagoland area after a couple days of rain. We lost, because I was on the road speaking in Salt Lake City, Utah this past weekend, and the storm hit. And my other half, Dr. Brian, didn't know how to put one of the umbrellas down on the deck, so it went way across into the neighbor's yard, all broken to pieces. So yeah, I had to drag it to the side, and branches everywhere all over the property. But anyway, we're safe. And Mother Nature, she does her thing. Yes, amen. In the news yesterday, I forgot to mention, they said Friday, as of Friday, it's clear for everybody to mix and match as far as if you're going to get the booster shot for the COVID-19 vaccination. A jury for me is still out on that. I'll keep it real with you. I'm just saying, I don't know. I jumped at the first one, which I'm glad I did. I just did. And I don't know. so much. I know when they tell me to do it, I'll do it. And when they, until then, I'm good. Mm. Help me welcome. I'll try to sneak her in because I wanted some. Hi, how you doing? No, sorry. She says, announce me before you drink me. Pushy much? Anyway, we've been together many years, you guys. You know her. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. She's my sidekick, my gal, my little Edwina McMahon. Right. I couldn't help it. I had to have some more of that maple, right? I'm going back to the buttered rum coffee from last week because just the name of it made me feel happier. But for today, it's maple. And let's see. That's it. I'm not going to look for something to talk about. I didn't even listen to the news. I don't know anything. No, I know they did have a memorial service yesterday for the director of the movie out in Arizona, I believe it was, with Alec Baldwin, that horrible accident. And a lot of shows I know on Netflix and different networks have decided that no more will they be using those real firearms as props, even with supposed blanks inside. So that's good. It's just a shame that it takes a loss of life every time for us to be jogged into or pushed into a better way of doing something. So let's try to stay ahead of the learning curve, shall we? You guys, that's why we're here. We're influencers, we're impactors, we're people who have been chosen, have been called, have chosen. And the most important part is we each have chosen in return to make a difference every day in the lives of others through our own lives, right? And today's guest is no different. Some of you may know her. We get a lot of people from Canada. Been a while though. So Elizabeth, she got a lot of names, y'all. Get ready. And I'm not even going to go to this last one, but I will tell you that there are 2 silent letters in it. And I'm not even going to try. Wait. GAGNON? I think GAGNON. Looks like GAGNON, but that's the second G is silent and the N is silent. And that's interesting because they sit right next to each other, those two. How interesting. We're going to talk about that name. But the rest of them I love, and they're easy. I love all of them, but these are the easy ones. Elizabeth Jean Olivia. Elizabeth Jean Olivia. See, rolls off my tongue like honey. Elizabeth Jean Olivia GAGNON is an established best-selling international co-author, international keynote speaker, founder and creator of the Miss Liz Tea Time and parties. Who doesn't love a party? Girl. Global Peace Challenge 2020 Ambassador for Canada, former International Secretary, Human Rights and Social Justice Federation. And before I fall out from lack of breath, I'm skipping ahead. She's a survivor of extreme abuse and also a flower toward humanity. Get ready to explain that one to us as she makes big changes in the world by creating magical events where people come together to share their stories of trauma and triumph. Now, she still pushes through the pain. While she still pushes through the pain, she is also the founder and creator of the Teabag Story Award. Oh, okay. Well, and there's a whole bunch. Oh, girl. Okay, let me get back in here so I can see you in the back. When I asked you for a brief bio, was that the brief one? Girl. So I don't blame you. You do a lot. You got a lot to tell people about. But I'm going to let her tell us instead of me reading it because no one can do it justice like the person who brought it to us. So she's a first timer, you guys. So here we go. Here it is. You know the protocol. We put our hearts into it. We put our hearts on the screen so that we can ensure that the promise of where 2 or more is gathered is taken to the highest of heights. We want illuminated conversations up in here. Can I get an amen? Which means we need you to be proactive, to be interactive. Get involved. Put your comments and your statements, your questions on the screen. Put them into the chat, and we'll get them inside with Miss Elizabeth. So put your hands together, you guys. Let's welcome her as she comes to the stage for the very first time. Here she comes, the woman whose last name I cannot say, but I do like the other 3. I'll just call her Liz. Come on, Liz. So can I get permission to just call you Liz?
Yeah, everyone calls me Miss Liz. I'm
Miss Liz.
Miss Liz for the tea time. That's how everybody knows
Miss
me.
Liz makes me feel like I'm in your classroom. Can I go to the bathroom, Miss Liz?
No, you can just drink your tea and make a difference.
Girl, no, this is straight up. Look at that, real coffee. So what are you drinking on over there in Canada?
I am drinking tea this morning.
See, that's why you said tea, because you're drinking tea.
Yes, I am.
Is that a British thing that you guys,
No, 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 no. Tea is actually a lifesaver for me. Tea came into my life at the age of 4, so it actually saved my life, and it was given to me by my Oma, and
Is
I
that
didn't.
grandma?
Yes, that's grandma in German.
Oh,
Yeah.
weiß nicht wie guten dir wird.
Oh, I only know a little bit. I know große Mama and Musimama.
Hoochie mama.
Yeah,
Hoochie mama.
Musimama.
Oh, girl. Okay, my hand. I said, I didn't know that was German, but I know about 15 of those. Well, we're so happy to tell us about some. Well, first of all, say hello to everybody. Tell them how to say your full name and where are you exactly in the world?
My name is Elizabeth Jean Olivia Gagnon. Gagnon, I also used to say Gagnon as well. It is a French name, so it is pronounced Gagnon.
Okay.
So it's almost like an onion, Gagnon. Like Gagnon and Gon. Like,
oh, the sound on, like onion.
Yeah.
It's a girl.
Roll the tongue.
Okay. Oh. So we're back. Let me stop. Y'all, okay. Pray for me today. Y'all pray for me. So tell me, I'm looking at I feel there's a lot of meaning on that backdrop back there, not just little cutesy stuff. Everything seems to be purposefully placed. Tell us about this, what we're looking at behind you.
So you'll see the Unstoppable Gems, and then you'll see a heart with the wing. So those are the 2 books that I'm in. I'm actually in 4 books for Sacred Hearts Rising and 1 book called The Unstoppable Gems, Everyday Women Living Their Passion and Dreams. So it's a little memento of who I am and that. And then when I do my tea times, you're also in my tea room as well. So if I turn the camera around, you would see all of my tea room where I do my tea shows. So
your tea shows?
Yes.
Oh, well, is that on Facebook? Where is that at? That is on Facebook.
Yes, that's on Facebook.
Well, shoot, we should show some of that. My eye itches, my allergies. Let me scratch y'all. You know, if there's a real show. Live TV. I'm just saying. Oh, there we go. Anybody out there deal with allergies? Got any clue? What do you use? What kind of eye drop? I was doing that Clear Eyes and it felt like acid.
Yeah, that's what I used to. It feels like acid.
Anybody got anything better than that? Please drop it in the comments. Please, thank you. Because I remember I can hear my mom, God rest her soul, get your hands on. You want me to put socks on your hands? Keep your hands out of your eyes. Yeah, so thanks for that, Mom. So listen, you are married, single? What's going on there?
I'm in a common law relationship right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's something you don't hear every day. Common law. Y'all be killing me over there. And y'all get away with everything. Well, now, common law, is that what you just shacking up?
Yes.
Well, then just say it.
Well, we've been together for 11 years. So.
You got that. Oh, they still playing that game where it's after 7 years, you're common law married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Well, in Canada, 90 days and you're common law married. So.
90 days?
Yeah, 90 days.
Don't go on an extended date in Canada, y'all. You already know. So not going to do my hey, with my husband up in here. Right. Girl, I was just on vacation. Right. Okay. So you're there. What tell us how little Elizabeth, did she ever dream about writing? Why'd you start getting in all these books?
Well, I actually was a writer from a young age. It was actually my way of releasing myself because I wasn't heard. I lived through a lot of abuse in my childhood and that.
You
so
did?
I've overcome
a
lot
you
of
can
abuse.
talk about? Can you share anything about
Oh
that?
yeah, I'm very open on my story.
Okay.
A lot of people follow me and they know that I'm very open with my life and that.
Okay.
That's actually what has transformed my life is sharing my story. So
Let's hear about that.
So at the age of 4, like I said, I was given my cup of tea by my Oma, and also at the age of 4, I was a victim of sexual abuse by my uncle, which he raped me for 9 years, and then I became impregnated by him, and I lost a daughter to stillborn, and that's what actually stopped the abuse was the loss of a child. And then from there, I was
How old were you? Can I ask how old were you when you had this baby?
14.
14.
Yeah.
What the family? Now let's talk about that for a second. A lot of people deal with this, believe it or not. A lot of people
Yeah.
Lots of people. I think that the majority of the inside abuse when you're beneath the age of 10 usually comes from a trusted family member. But then as a kid, did you not tell anybody?
Oh yeah, I told a lot of people. A lot of my family knew. There's a lot of sickness in my family.
Did they believe you or were they in denial, Elizabeth?
No, well, a lot of them were abusers themselves. So yeah, there was a lot of incest in my family. A lot of cousins marrying cousins. A lot of that redneck kind of stuff going on, right? So it was the dirty little secret. Just hush, hush, lock her up, put her away. Yeah, this kid is crazy. She's
What do you
just.
mean lock her up?
I've been put in a psychiatric ward 4 times. So yeah,
For being the whistleblower of the family secret?
yeah,
Who
for
was the person who signed that paperwork?
my parents.
And how's your relationship with them today?
Well, my father's passed now. It was a rocky relationship. When I was younger, I was a daddy's girl. But as I got older, and when the
Was the
baby,
uncle his brother or your mom's brother?
no, my mom's sister's husband.
Oh, so he wasn't even blood. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
go
there was
ahead.
other family members that abused me as well. Like I was a little sex toy, as they called me, little girl toy that they could play with because I was the quiet one. I was the shy one. So there was a lot of abuse going on in my family. There was a lot of alcohol, a lot of drug addictions, and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. So a lot of neglect, abandonment, foster care systems.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So, but
So,
I actually got a lot from my foster care. And that's why in the future I turned to foster care for my children when it came to the domestic violence to get out of my situation with my ex-husband. I turned to my parents for help, and once again they turned me down and told me to grow up and stuff like that. So I turned to the foster care system because that's where I got all of my structure, how to dress myself, how to have um, go to school. There was a lot of things that I got good from a foster care system. Where some
mhm.
some
Some
care
people,
some homes are not good because I've been
that's
in
right.
many homes. Some homes were not good, but some of them
They're
were
not always
very
bad
good.
either.
So
Right. So when you say about that's where you turned with your kids, so it sounds like there came a time where you had to make a tough decision and foster care for your own kids.
yeah.
Where now, everybody's wondering, so let's just get this one off the table. Now, the kids that you did have hopefully came from a relationship that you invited.
Two of my children were from my ex-husband, and one was from out of wedlock. So
Okay, but not some of those family members.
no, no,
Oh,
no,
thank
no,
goodness.
no,
Yes, yes, yes. Well, good. Now we don't have to think about that.
no.
So let's talk about this. Let's go to because nothing is ever about just one thing. So we've all every time you hit one of those pain moments, of course we felt it like a gut check, a rabbit punch, if you will. But then I'm a firm believer, and I have a feeling you know a little bit about this yourself, that trauma, coward that it is, never travels alone. But fortunately, what rides sidecar, if you will, is in all cases, whether we realize it or not, there's always a blessing
There
that
is.
comes in at the same time riding sidecar, but it's born into the process of becoming. And sometimes we have to wait decades
Yeah.
for it to show in its fullness. Talk about what, because I know you did. Back when you were young, when you were little, when you were the innocent, and these things were happening. Talk about your relationship with that thing you ascribe to now as what is greater than yourself. Do you remember back when the conversation began between the child and the creator, or what you believe to be greater than yourself? Because I believe as kids, my story is the same, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that same carpeting, let's put it that way. The rooms and all the accoutrements were different, but the carpeting of trauma feels the same.
Yeah.
So, but I remember that voice, that thing that whispered, where'd that come from? Who is this? Is that me? Do you remember when that happened? And what did it start telling you that you feel started you down the road of self-preservation, taking care of yourself?
I think it was the night that I was raped at the age of 4. This little girl, the inner child, came into me and just told me to stay strong. I kind of turned to my tea. I always turn to my tea, and that's why tea is a blessing for me. And when I got my tea from my Oma, she had told me to enjoy my tea. So as a little girl, I drank it really quickly, and she's like, "No, no, no, no." And I was like, "Oh, what did I do wrong?" And she's like, we're going to try this again. And I was like, okay. So she said, now I want you to sit. I want you to reflect, recharge, and release. Well, I didn't really understand what she meant when she said that. But as I grew older, I understood what she was actually giving me. She was giving me a tea of life,
Mm.
the tea to survive, because it was almost like she knew, because she knew what kind of family we had, that I would need this tea. I
Uh-huh.
would need something to stay strong. And my Oma was always there for me, always. Until the age of 94, I always sat and had tea with her. We giggled. She used to get after me because I used to grab some crab apples on the way getting to her to have tea and that. And she'd be like, "You're going to get a sore tummy from those apples one day." And I was like, "Well, they're super yummy." So, but yeah, my Oma was the one that actually saved my life by giving me this cup of tea.
So it sounds like that very first time um, became a really sacred
Yeah,
ritual, if you will, for you that you've held. Isn't it interesting how things find their way to us through the law of attraction and through purpose that are those surfboards of safety and peace that we can get on and stay on and stand up on and ride like, you know, Olympians when
yeah.
we need to. So did you ever have that conversation with your Oma about the traumas and things, or was it
Oh
almost?
yeah,
Oh, so you actually, and she believed you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what?
She did. She actually was disgusted with the family. A few members were, but they never ever did anything. It was just how sick the family was. You know, okay, today we'll be extra nice to you, and then tomorrow back again to the abuse and back to the neglect and that. It was just like a routine, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the family didn't like to be taken off of their routine too much. And I was the whistleblower, and I was the black sheep, and always telling teachers and always telling people. And even the day at 10 years old, I had looked at my mom, and I remember this day I was in the kitchen and I said, "Mom, what would you do if I was raped?" And she's like, "Would you stop talking that nonsense and go play with your brothers and sisters?"
Now, how many siblings did you have? Do you have? Did you have?
I have two sisters and two brothers.
Any of them suffered the same fate? Or?
I believe that there was some form of abuse. I don't know if there was any sexual abuse ever given to them, but I know that there was forms of mental abuse and physical abuse
Mhm.
and
How'd
stuff
you
like
get
that.
away? How'd you get away from the situation? How'd you tell us about how you escaped?
Oh, my journey was in and out of shelters. I was always running and trying to get help, and I always seemed to go back to family because I have the big heart. I was the lifesaver in the family, always going back and saving everybody, but nobody was saving me. That's how my life was. I finally got out in 2005 from my domestic violence with my ex-husband, and that, so that was a journey in itself. But even
Now
the
I'm here.
even the beginning of that story was the day that I got married. My father sold me for $2. He looked at me and he says, "Once I get the $2, he can have you." And then when my ex husband now, he had handed him the $2, and my father looked at him and he said, "Now she's your trouble. You take care of her." So those are the memories I have of my wedding day, and
What?
that's, yeah. I have like a very sick family, and that I didn't really come out with the story of my daughter Ashley until my father passed, because I was scared that he would still lock me up. I still had that fear that
Oh,
he would put me into a psychiatric ward again, because every time I mentioned my daughter Ashley, I was always threatened. Well, you're going to get locked up again. You're talking that nonsense again. You're sick in the head again.
was Ashley the stillborn?
Yeah, yeah. I actually gave her a name.
Oh yeah.
I was able to give her a name, but I wasn't able to back then, because babies that are stillborn, they don't get a birth certificate because they're not actually a live birth. So, but I do celebrate her every year, and that I used to have a silent tea for over 30 years, and then when I shared in Sacred Hearts book one the first time, I actually came out with her story and that. So that was really uplifting for me. It really took a lot
Yeah.
of weight off. So
Yeah. Now, Elizabeth, I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you something. I know you tell your story a lot, and you put a lot out there. I can feel it. And
yeah,
I have a gift where I get glimpses inside the greatness of others. And I'm gonna tell you, when you're sitting here, it's amazing. I cannot wait for you to write this one book that one. And you remember what question I asked you in the back room?
Yes.
When you're going to do that book that's all you? Because I'm going to tell you something. You know, I feel, I hear a download. I feel a download. I'm not kidding you. Where it's time for you to be able to tell your story without immediately wondering if they're whispering behind their hands. There goes the liar again. There she goes making up stuff again. You know what they say about her. She's crazy as a loon. Da 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 da
Oh, I
da.
still get that to this
I
day.
know you do. I know you do. And you get it from close proximity.
Yeah.
And having said that to you, I want to say this. You know, you do know the difference between family versus relatives, correct?
Oh, I
Family
do.
is based in love.
Yes.
Relatives merely based in blood.
Yep.
So there is a difference, right? So you're here
There
today
is.
with family. Can I get an amen, you guys? If you feel we're here together as family, fulfilling the promise of two or more, put it in the comments in the form of I agree. Put that in the comments if you agree. So I want to talk about. Who do you see now? I mean, because you know, I know you know, but we're helping someone else get through that distorted lens of all the stuff that's been tried to be piled on top of us. Anything to keep our mouths and hearts and souls shut down. But when you started feeling the need, you were being compelled, is the only way I can say it, to keep pushing back against this. What did it feel like? Do you remember that moment, that divine appointment, that divine intersection, Elizabeth, when you knew that you had to talk about this if there was ever to be healing for you and therefore healing for others through you? How did that conversation go when you chose and said, okay?
Well, actually, the
Yeah.
conversation started with Brenda Hammond. She was putting a call out for authors. And I had always wanted to share my story because I know that my story is very empowering. I know that it will change lives, and it has changed lives because I've been sharing since 2017 my full story. And I'm giving chapters each year. And it just seems like the divine universe is working with me because all of my chapters seem to flow as a beautiful transformation. When I first started writing, my first chapter was called The Broken Porcelain Doll. And I'm ending Sacred Hearts. The series is ending in 2022, and I'm the Broken Wings Fly too. And the reason that I use the word broken, a lot of people will say, let's stop using that word broken. You're not broken. Broken is beautiful. We need to break in order for the light to come in. If we don't break, we can't shine. And I keep telling people the perception of words. When I say weak, I'm not saying that I'm a weak person. I'm saying that I had weak moments in my life, but I've overcome those moments and I've made a difference with my weak moments and turned them into strong tea. And when I say tea, I don't mean the beverage. I mean the transformation, the empowerment, the action that I've taken in my life to make a difference for others. And I believe that I had to go through what I went through so that I could save other people out there and other children who are fighting to be heard, and women and even men, because I'm very big on men. I'm very,
Mm.
I believe that men have stories.
Oh, yeah.
Men need to share as well. And I have a son, and I keep saying this to everyone because everyone says, "Well, Liz, you do a lot for human rights and a lot of gender equality." Gender equality for both, not just for one. I'm not all about all women rights. I'm about men rights as well. We need to have rights because I have a son, and I want my son to have these rights and have these services. So I wouldn't be doing any good for my child if I'm just saying, you know what, all for girls. When I have a son, I want my son to have these services and these rights as well. So I
Mm.
speak a lot on different, being unique. I use words that make people look within themselves. And that's what I do is with a cup of tea is you look within, right? And when I serve my tea and I do my tea times, I make people tell me what their tea is. Like, what is your tea? Tell me what your tea is by giving me a word for each letter. So by the TEA. So for T, for me, it's teaching. For E, it's education. And for A, it's awareness. So I'm teaching from the past, educating my present, and I'm aware of the future that I can change at any given moment. And this is what I do. So when people hear tea time, they're like, "Oh,
Okay.
we're having tea. We're drinking
Feel
tea."
that tea, girl. Right.
So I'm like,
Okay.
we're drinking tea, but we're drinking your tea, you know,
That's my
and
little
we all
secret.
have a tea. So
Yeah, we do. You better, girl. Yes, we do. Listen, and speaking of, you guys put your TEAs into the comments. What do
I'd
you
love to
think?
hear them because
I would too.
I
I
really,
would too.
it's really amazing because there's not one single tea out there that is the same, and that's what I really love about it.
I love this. I love this. We're going to do more of it during the break, which will be brief. So get it done, you guys. Drop what you feel is your TEA. What do those letters stand for in your journey? When we return, we're going to get into even more. I want to hear more about tea times, and I'm hoping I can convince you to read us a little something from one of your chapters. If you could get that together during the break, and maybe you'll even flip the camera around and let us see the set of tea time, or I'm going to go and try to find it during the break. That and some more surprises when we return with our guest here, Elizabeth. You guys don't go away. Nice time to shut the broadcast out. Think about it. We'll be right back. Well, hello, and hello. I am here because I need to have a little talk with you. My name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm here to personally invite you to come in and experience a 90-minute free preview of my latest work. It is, I don't want to just say it's a program or it's the culmination of my latest work. And I call it P3, Purpose, Patience, and Passion. Have you ever been in the position where you know something through and through 1,000% with no proof? What about this one? When you found yourself at that fork in the road of your journey. And to the left and to the right are two different opportunities, but you can feel some of everything, good, bad, and everything in between. But you stayed stuck. It didn't take either. It belongs to all of us simply because we are. So join me, won't you, for this 90-minute free preview of P3, the Journey series. Just come in and check it out. Come in and be a part of the conversation. Let's heal. Let's learn. Let's go. See you inside. Click the button. And welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. And during the break, you saw a little bit there about two things. P3, the Journey series. I encourage each of you to head over to laurenmichaelsharris.com. That's my website. Right at the very top, you'll find a blue button where you can reserve your seat for the 90-minute preview coming up on the 13th of November, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I think you're going to be transformed in a way you wouldn't have expected. We had some people here the other day that actually experienced our beta testing, our almost, I guess you could say, a focus group about 3 weeks ago. And so we want you there too. So please head over, reserve a seat for yourself. And also, you guys, it's coming up. It'll be here before you know it. Tickets go on sale November 1st on Eventbrite. And of course, I am speaking of the Power of We Symposium. That is our give back piece, changing lives of young people all over the world. This year, again, back for the second time. We were there in 2017 in Chicago. April 28th is the date for next year, 2022. Head over to powerofwesymposium.com and get all the information. And again, tickets go on sale, and I'll remind you, November 1st. Okay, we want to see you here in Chicago. But today, I'll get that over before we get out of here. I want to get Miss Liz back in here so we can talk about some tea and some tea times. Now, we have a show on E360 Network with Teresa Griffin. She's a songstress out of Chicago here. She has Tea Time, but it's THYME, like time, Tea Time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you guys.
I love anything tea.
You can do one of those crossover shows, where you go from one into the other. Great friend of mine. So let's talk about your show, Tea Time. How to get started And who's it for?
Well, Tea Time actually started. This is my actual business. Is Tea Time, Miss Liz's Tea Parties, which started in 2015 in my home. I did a tea party for strong women in my life because I've actually started getting friends in my early 40s. And one of the ladies that was there, she liked the layout that I did, the theme I did, and everything. She's like, "Could you do this in the community?" And I was like, "I don't know. I could try." So I tried, and in 2016, I had my first tea time, and I raised $140, which might not be a lot to a lot of people, but it actually
Mm-hmm.
helped two services. So they received
Right.
$70 each, and
Okay.
what I did was I created an event that would give back to the community and services that helped me because I'm big on giving back to who has helped me in my life.
Awesome.
And so what I did is I was in a lot of women's shelters and that. So I gave to the Baldwin House and I gave to the SAS program here in Cornwall. And it's a sexual abuse survivors abuse clinic that helps women to overcome their sexual abuse and that and the trauma. And I had a speaker. So, and that's where the Teabag Story Award came in. I wanted something different. I wanted something that nobody had ever done before. And for me, I love woodworking. I love repurposing old
Boy.
stuff and bringing into new stuff. I like to get dirty. I like to stain. I like to bring back the old and bring into the new. So a lot of transformation. I do a lot of transformation in everything in my life. Since I was a little girl, I've always tried to bring back the old stuff into new. So um,
Mm. So did before COVID, were you doing these tea parties in real life?
yes, I was. I was doing them in the community and I was hosting two tea times a year. Uh, Within the time that I started the tea times, I raised over $5,000 for the community for different services like bereaved families and Bowen House, SAS, Parkinson's, a bunch of things that are close and dear to my heart. So anything that has affected my life or somebody I love has affected their life, I try to bring awareness to it because I believe that we need awareness. So
We
then
do.
when COVID came along, I was like, how do I keep this going? And I needed interaction because I love interaction with people. And I like
Mhm.
to know people's stories. I like to know the backstory of people. So I said, well, why not virtual tea times? I was the Sacred Hearts Rising Leader for Change with Sacred Hearts, and I was doing these monthly events. And I was like, well, why can't I do this with tea time? And then I became the Global Peace Ambassador for Canada. And I was like, well, I can bring in different countries now. I can bring it globally. I can bring in different people from around the world. And it just grew. So within the last 2 years, I've done over 100 tea times of people from around the world with different organizations, foundations, projects, authors, just everyday people that aren't getting that light, that need that light, that
To
I
come in.
that
I'm
I
gonna tell you
feel.
what I got about you just a second ago. So incredibly strong. I had to write it down. But one of the things I just got one of those glimpses that I'm always bragging about. Um, that they allow me to see in certain people. And I just got one about you. One of the things that people love about you and what you do with these tea times, no matter how you do it, virtually, in person, is because you do a lot of them that are off the tea time clock, standing in the grocery store line, just on the phone, is because you're an incredibly gifted listener. You are an incredibly gifted listener. Have you heard that before? Is that something people tell you about yourself? Or do you know that about yourself?
Yeah, I've been told that a lot, that I'm very easy to talk to. People in the grocery store will tell me their life story, and
I know.
just standing in a checkout, they'll tell me like how they had a rotten day, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm really sorry for that." Then keep talking, keep sharing, and here's my number if you need to talk to me more.
That just for those out there that are wondering, well, I wonder how Lauren knew that. The thing is, I didn't. But what is there with us watching everything we do when the human eyes don't even see it was? And hence the download that you are an incredibly gifted listener. And even so much so that it pointed straight to the grocery store line. Could have been anywhere. It
Yeah.
said the butcher or the dry cleaners or the Starbucks, but it was the grocery store, and that actually happens to you a lot, doesn't it?
It does. It does. A lot of people are amazed. Even the people in the checkout, they'll be like amazed. They'll be like, "Oh my God, this person is talking to her like as if they know her." And I'm just like, it happens all the time. Just let them speak. People just want to be heard. And as a
Well,
little girl, I just wanted to be heard.
you
And
want it to be heard. So I find it so amazing that it's easy for you to speak because you're so engaged in listening.
yeah,
Do you think that sometimes, because they say 98%, you see it in my coaching promo at the top of the hour, 98% of the population suffers or deals with the fear of public speaking. But but you don't seem to have that issue at all. Do you think it's easier for you to speak because you speak after you've been listening?
I am actually nervous right now. You might not see it, but I am. I
Well,
suffer
right.
from I suffer from extreme anxiety, especially when it comes to me. I love showcasing others, but when it comes to me being showcased, I really get high anxiety. I don't know why.
You guys type it in. Did you one or two choices? All this time did you think she was calm or anxious? Drop it in the comments. Calm or anxious? Because you need to see what we saw. Isn't it interesting, Elizabeth, how we so many times in so many cases we see something totally distorted as compared to what other people see?
Exactly.
I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, I'm serious. I can look at myself in certain photos and go, oh my God, boy, don't ever wear that shirt again or something. And then 2 minutes later, someone will go, oh, they'll comment, because I'm planning on going back and deleting it because someone else in this house probably posted it. And they'll say, oh, this is one of my favorite pics of you or whatever. And I'm like, what are you looking at? Are we in the same world? Right?
Yeah, you got the same eyes as me here.
Exactly. So then I want to go back a little bit if we could. Let's go to this. I want to find out how are things, we're headed into the holidays. You got your own family, your children, your sons and stuff. What do you do during the holidays? How are those for you? Do you still set one foot into the family dynamic of, them?
Holidays are actually a trigger for me.
It's a trigger for a lot of us.
Yeah, I actually, what I started a couple of years ago, I was doing Christmas open house for homeless people and single moms, because Christmas time was really a hard time for me. I really found that Christmas time was a time when a lot of our family would get together, a lot of drinking would happening, and a lot of abuse happened during those holiday times, where because there was so many family, it was so packed, so it was easier to hide. I found. So yeah, Christmas is a really hard time for me.
Easier for the perpetrator to hide,
Yeah,
but not the victim.
no.
Mm.
So
So how do you deal with those triggers? Because I don't know how it is in Canada, but already we haven't even had Halloween yet, and you go down the aisle, two aisles over, it's Christmas.
yeah.
So
Well,
how do you prepare yourself to deal with this stuff?
For Christmas, I usually do a different theme in my house. I've done some really crazy Christmas trees that a lot of people are always looking forward to. What is Miss Liz going to do this year for her Christmas tree? I've done a lemon tree. I've done a feather tree, a rainbow of color tree. I've done angels, a ceramic tree. I've actually made my own ceramic angels out of flooring. I'm very creative, so every year they'll be like, Liz, what are you doing for Christmas this year? What's your tree gonna look like this year? And I'm just like, I don't know. I wait for the universe to tell me what to do, and how my year has gone is usually the theme of my tree.
Mm-hmm.
So the year of the lemon there was a lot of lemon. There was a lot of lemon that year. And when I say lemons, I mean there was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of hard times. So I wanted to make lemonade out of my Christmas tree. I just wanted to make, and everyone in my kids and my spouse, they all said, you're not going to put real lemons on that tree, are you? And I said, yes, I am. Watch me. And I went out and I bought 3 big bags of lemons, and I put lemons all over that tree. And I can say my cat never went near that tree at all. So it saved my tree that year. So,
you got one of those? Ours better not.
Yeah.
We have 3 trees in this house. And I tell you what, if they were to even come close, they're here getting the tree limbs that I threw to the side of the road. Good. So Liz, let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the one that's coming up. Did you find something to read for us?
Yes, I actually grabbed all 4 books because I have all 4 books here. So if anybody would like to buy a book, I have books all the time on hand, so if
Well,
anybody would like.
tell us, set up what you're going to read for us today. Tell us about it. What was the situation like that gave you
Well,
this?
I'm gonna read a little bit from my second last book, because the next book is coming out in March of 2022, Sacred Hearts Rising. Uh, Courage Under Fire is called the book.
Okay, I'm going to jet out and give the stage to you, and you bless us with this. Okay, looking forward to it. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to just share a little bit on the unstoppable gems that I was in, and I'm just going to read a little bit on the beginning of the chapter, just to give you a little insight. So my story in Unstoppable Gems is called The Transformation Through the Wings. So I actually shared my story as a butterfly on how I transformed. So I came from a place of true strength from the wings. Let me show you and take you on a journey of how it became. You see, growing up was never easy and still isn't to this day. But the difference is I decided to get up, show up, and carry on today. Just like when I was a child, I was put into a cocoon of shame that hid me away. You see, the real beauty is in the goop that creates us all to be who we really are today. Now let the beginning start. I was born in a little northern town called Hearst, Ontario, Canada. I was born in the late early morning on May 17, 1974. I don't remember the baby years, just that I knew I always felt out of place. The surroundings were not home. That's how I felt, surrounded by hate, anger, and pain. I learned at an early age to stay quiet and out of the way, be seen but not heard, or else the rage was coming for me. At 4, no matter how quiet I stayed, the pain was coming, and only for me. Picked out of a bunch, I was the one he wanted. You could say that when the cocoon started, that's when the cocoon started to form. I would dream of being far away in a land of peace, beauty, fairies, magic, and tea. For years, I would travel to that faraway land, that every time that evil came for me. Like his piece of rawhide, he ripped me apart with his scent of disgust, telling me I would never be anyone else's. I was his only, because he loved me as he said. That's right, he raped me. Years of being thrown apart, ripping my childhood's innocence away. I survived that one, then just to find out in my life that there would be more like him, wanting to break me through their ways. I grew up fast, and I had no choice. I needed to. Still locked in silence, because that's all I knew. I really wanted to share my life in Unstoppable Gems as a butterfly, because being a victim of abuse, we only make a difference when we share our stories and we open our wings and we fly. And a butterfly for me is transformational. As you've heard before, my T is transformation, empowerment, and action. My butterfly needed to transform, to empower, to bring the action into my life today.
Wow.
So that's, I really go deep when I share my stories, but I go deep in a way that a person can understand that there was a lot of hurt, a lot of pain,
You think?
but there was a lot of transformation as well.
I just needed a moment there. Um, it, man, you know, I can say this. I can say this, because I was a kid, but my abusers were found inside of a world of strangers known as the foster care system. Um, I can't even imagine having those same things happen from people that share the same bloodline with you. Um, it's an entirely different level of betrayal. So it's just amazing to me, as with all of your stories that you bring here and share on Bathrobe Moments. And well, I applaud your courage, Elizabeth. I really do. I wish more people could look over the shoulder of life to the life they've lived and summon that courage to just have these illuminated conversations. It's so very important to so many aspects of life, in particular, the aspect of healing. So, um, how do you deal with those days when you wake up and the world feels heavy? When all the work you've done for a second, or there's a glimpse of, has anything really changed? You know, those moments
Yeah.
of temporary question or doubt, where, you know, you hear that dictator, that tyrant, start trying to whisper those same lies. And it seems like there's a volume knob everywhere, but where you can reach it to turn it back down. Where do you go to lock yourself in place so that you can stay tall and strong, the tree that you are?
I actually cry. I cry a lot, and I don't want anyone out there to look at crying as weak. Crying actually strengthens me,
Mm.
because I know that without crying, I would not be who I am today. I am a very emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very transparent. I don't really care what anyone thinks of me because I've overcome so much in my life that I know that I am a good person. I have a good heart and that I do make a difference. And I'm that lady that will make a difference with a cup of tea because I believe in myself.
Hmm.
So,
You sure will. You sure do. You sure have. I'll say that because here's the deal. I know. I don't need, you don't got to lay down the proof. I don't need to see the footage. I don't need any video testimonials. Tell you how I know. Number one, the truth has a ring to it, just like that bell. And number two, I can feel it when you say it because you say it like you mean it.
I do.
That's him. Yeah,
I
there it is.
do.
And the moment we do something that we mean, it immediately becomes meaningful somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world, you know, it
Yep.
becomes meaningful. And I just, I get this another download about you that you do this with no expectations from me.
No, no. And that's one thing. A lot of people will tell me, Miss Liz, how can you do all of this? Why do you do all of this? Why not? That's what I tell everybody. Why not? We were given this life, not, and we were given this story. My story is not for me. My story is for others. My life is for others. I work for others and I serve for others. Yes, I love myself and I know that I'm a good person. But our stories are not given to us for us. They are given to us so that we can empower other people. We can make a difference in other people's lives. We have overcome this so that we can be an example for others out there. And for me, my goal in life is just to make a difference for others without any expectations. If I get rewards, that's a bonus, but that's not my goal in life.
Yeah,
My goal in life is just to make a difference.
there's a ring. So I want to say this. I want to ask you this. What would you say to someone who is, let's say, within a family dynamic and they have a suspicion? Let's just say it's just a suspicion. I got a feeling,
Yep.
something's going on with that little one. And a lot of us that have been, as they say in the black world in our family, messed with. Somebody done messed with that girl, I can tell. Somebody messing with that boy. That's what the old folks will say.
Yep.
Um, when people have a suspicion, that's a very tenuous place to be. Because what if you're wrong?
But what if you're right?
But what if you're right? So what? I'm not trying to get you to, you know, get somebody to throw something or somebody under the bus, put themselves in any kind of precarious situation. But what do we do if we feel that something is happening to a child based simply on that feeling? What do you suggest? People ever ask you that question, Miss Liz?
I would just look into it because you just never know. You might be saving a child's life. And what's the worst that could happen? Somebody being mad at you? Oh, well, get over it. But you're saving a child's life. You have a suspicion, you have a feeling, go out and save that child's life because you just never know. It might not be what you think it might be something even worse For me, it was
That's a good point.
there was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of psychological abuse, a lot of mental abuse, a lot of physical abuse, sexual abuse. And when I say I've overcome extreme abuse, I've overcome extreme abuse. Is my story worse than others? Maybe for some, but my story doesn't compare to somebody else's. We all have overcome something.
Yes.
My pain is not your pain. It's just like I tell everybody, I can't serve your tea. The only one that can serve your tea is you. I can only serve my tea to the world. And that's why I have tea time,
Cheers.
because I want people to serve their teas. I want people to actually understand that they have a story that matters. You might think it's just a little story. Oh, I've only been abused once. Once is one too many times in my eyes.
Okay. I've heard that before too. And I'm like, when they come and say, yeah, well, unlike you, but I've only been abused once. And I'm like, I'm looking for the TEAs. Did any of you do this?
Yeah, I seen a couple come in
You did?
earlier.
I'm
Yes, I
looking.
did.
Okay.
There's so many comments coming in. I just see the comments coming
I like
up.
that
So,
title.
but there was a couple that came in.
Okay. I was so very. Oh, somebody's. I love the tea I discovered. Okay, releasing secret. Oh, here. Okay, here we go. Michelle North, Truth, Empower, Action. Sherry McQueen, Trust, Empowered Angels.
Ooh, I like
Ooh,
that.
I do too.
I like that.
Truth, Evolving Action, Tia Rogers.
I like that.
Wow.
There's a lot of strong teas that are coming in, because the reason that I ask everyone for the TEA is your past, your present, and your future. That's what you're giving me. So a lot of truth for the T. So that means that there was a lot of things that you guys wanted heard as a child in your past. Empowerment, it means that you're either a speaker today or you're empowering through your stories and stuff like that. Angels, I really love that, because that means that you're a guiding angel for somebody in the future. I really, really love these teas. They're really strong. You just
They
never
really
know what
are.
comes.
I just love the people that come here. All of you, Tia, Lori, Sherry McQueen, Michelle Nordoff, all of you. Robert Brooker's usually here. Just all of them. People pop in and come out. Some people have certain days they show up and whatnot. And I want to remind you guys, because all you Jax fans, all you country western singing star fans, Jack's young. He did not have internet yesterday in Nashville due to the storms and whatnot, but he has it now. We've spoken, and he is, in fact, God willing, going to be here tomorrow. So just show up, have your boots on, get ready to boot scoop boogie. We're probably going to get him to sing. He's got some new projects, so he's got a new song, I think, for the holidays. And if he doesn't, he better write one and record it before tomorrow, because I just said he had one. So, but be here for that tomorrow. Oh, real quick, sorry about this, Liz, but I forgot yesterday. V8, 100 calories per can, 2 full servings of vegetables, 60 calories. Did I say that already? 2 servings of vegetables, 60 calories, 100% vegetable juice. Not 100 calories, 60. Easy to find. Just head down the juice aisle in your local grocer. It's not official till I drink it. Ding. You can cash at me now, V8. I did it. I'm just kidding. So, listen, Liz, I want people to be able to connect with you. So we're going to pop on the screen and tell us what they'll find when they head over to your website, or excuse me, Facebook, Miss Liz Tea Parties. What do they find there?
And they'll see all the tea times that are there. And I actually have a tea time tonight at 8 p.m. I have 9 amazing authors that are going to be on there that have a book coming out as they will be releasing their book November 7th. So we're doing a pre-launch for them. So if everybody wants to check that out tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Miss Liz's Tea Time and Tea Parties, you will see that.
All righty. And if LinkedIn is your jam, she's over there too, right, Liz?
Yes, I am. I am on LinkedIn, and I am looking to speak on any stages to make a difference for awareness for mental health, abuse, and grief, and a voice of humanity and peace, because I'm big on both of those subjects as well.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. The truth is there. You are the truth. I want to offer you what I call the turnstile invitation. You can come back anytime you'd like to share with us. Let us know what's going on new and exciting in the life of Elizabeth. Miss Liz Tea Times, you guys get over and check her out on Facebook, her website, and also on LinkedIn, just to name a few. Liz, I want to thank you so much for coming in today, for pouring into us, pouring out of yourself, and sharing your truths with us and bringing us knee deep inside of today's illuminated conversation. It's been a real honor and definitely a joyful pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As we get out of here, to each and every one of you, thank you for showing up today and every day, wherever it may be, not just here for this show, for this time together, but remember, every time you do and you mean it, it suddenly becomes meaningful to someone or something within the world. All you have to do is get out and change every life you encounter and change everything that you encounter, every experience. Just remember, take bright to brighter, strong to stronger, great to greater, bold to bolder. Find that E and that R that makes all the difference all the time. I'll see you tomorrow morning out front, 8 a.m. Central, God willing, and we'll do it all again. We'll meet right there for our next episode of Bathrobe Moments. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spend